Okay, just picture this for a second. You compose your first symphony when you're just 8 years old. By the time you're a teenager, you're writing music for kings and queens. And in a life that lasts only 35 years, your work completely defines an entire era of music. Well, this is the incredible story of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, a man whose genius literally turned sound into immortality. Right. 8 years old. At an age when, let's be honest, most of us were probably struggling with a recorder, Mozart was composing his first full symphony. The year was 1764. I mean, it's a level of talent it's almost impossible to wrap your head around, isn't it? And that ridiculously early start, it led to a completely staggering amount of work. In his short life, he created over 600 compositions. We're talking operas, symphonies, concertos, you name it. And this music has echoed through the centuries, literally shaping the future of music as we know it.
So where does a story like this even begin? We have to go back to his birthplace, the city of Salzburg in Austria, to meet this young boy who, it seems, was just born with music flowing through his veins. The sheer speed of his development is just mind-blowing. Born in 1756, and by age 5 he's already composing. Just a year after that, his father has him on tour across Europe, performing for royalty and soaking up all these different musical styles. And then by 8, bam, that first symphony is done. His talent wasn't just growing, it was exploding. You can just imagine the reaction. The courts of Europe are absolutely stunned.
And you might think, oh, that's just a proud dad exaggerating. But nope, this comes from his own sister, Nannerl, who was a brilliant musician herself. She said his genius was just there, undeniable, right from the very beginning. He wasn't just learning music, he was creating it, completely instinctively. So as Mozart grows from this child prodigy into a young man, his ambition and his art start to feel, well, a little confined. He starts looking beyond Salzburg, setting his sights on the musical capital of the world at the time, Vienna.
And this is where he makes a choice that was almost unheard of for a musician back then. He basically rebels against the whole system. He leaves his secure court job, where he was paid peanuts and treated like a servant, to become a freelance artist in Vienna. That was a massive risk, trading stability for the freedom to write whatever he wanted for whoever he wanted. He was really forging a new path for what an artist could be.
And artistically speaking, wow, did that gamble pay off. His years in Vienna were his most productive by far. He was just churning out masterpiece after masterpiece, works that became instant classics and are still at the very heart of classical music today. His genius wasn't just a hit with the public, the other giants of the time saw it too. Get this incredible praise comes from his friend, the father of the symphony himself, Joseph Haydn. I mean, when a master like Haydn tells your dad you're the greatest, you know it's the real deal.
But what is it that really takes Mozart from just a great composer to an eternal one? It's not just the technical perfection, it's his profound understanding of human emotion. He managed to blend this incredible emotional depth with almost mathematical precision, and you can see this most clearly in his operas.
So that brings up a really fascinating question. What was his secret? How did he use notes on a page to make these characters on stage feel so authentic, so alive?
Well, the answer is all in his technique. An academic analysis of his final opera, The Magic Flute, actually breaks down exactly how he used the language of music itself to build character.
And here it is, the key insight. Mozart had this extraordinary empathy. He didn't just write music for a character. It's like he could actually inhabit them. He would get inside their heads and translate their innermost thoughts and feelings directly into sound.
And you can see this method so brilliantly in an aria from The Magic Flute. The hero, Tamino, is falling in love with a portrait he's looking at, and the music itself starts to ascend. Those rising notes perfectly mirror his swelling hope and adoration. Mozart makes you feel what the character is feeling. He doesn't just tell a story, he pulls you right into its emotional core. Mozart's time on Earth was just tragically short, but his death at only 35 years old, well, that was really just the beginning of his true legacy. His music made him immortal. It's wild to think that he died young and was buried in a common unmarked grave. And yet, he left behind this immense treasure. He didn't just contribute to these musical genres. In many ways, he perfected them. setting the standard for generations of composers who would come after him.
Now, it's really important not to mistake the elegance and beauty of his music for simplicity. As the musicologist Charles Rosen points out, Mozart's work contains the full, messy, beautiful spectrum of human experience, from joy and love to violence and suffering. It's shockingly real.
And that, right there, is why his work lives on. He created a universal language of feeling. Whether it's the joy in Figaro, the darkness in Don Giovanni, or the hope in the Magic Flute, he gave a voice to the very architecture of our inner lives.
More than 200 years later, his music is this incredible reminder that perfection doesn't have to be cold or distant. It can be brimming with life and laughter and light. He managed to turn fleeting human emotions into eternal harmony. Which leaves us with a final question. What part of ourselves might we discover if we truly take the time to listen?